All right, what is going on, everybody? Today is Saturday, August 2nd, and I don't know if you can hear it. I'm only 3 days into the season, and I feel like I'm losing my voice already. That figures. Well, what happened today? If you guys watched Outdoor GPS this morning, I mentioned that the morning bite, first of all, we stayed in the river. We didn't go out in the ocean. And the fish were kind of acting weird. There weren't very many fish around. It was incoming tide. We started above the bridge on the Washington side because that is where everyone caught a bunch of fish yesterday. And one of the concerns that I had was that a lot of the biters were going to be picked off. That might have been the case, but frankly, I just didn't see all that many fish. So the fish that we did see were kind of flaring on the gear. So they come up and look at it and then just immediately flare off. They weren't engaging. They weren't turning and looking on it when I was looking at my active target. And that made it pretty frustrating, to say the least. It didn't matter if I was running a spin fish or a spinner. Changed up a lot of colors of flashers too. Didn't matter depth. One thing I've noticed here before I go more into this is that people always ask what depth on the line counter. The reality is that these fish will come find you. It doesn't matter if they're too high or too low. If they want to play, they will swim down or swim up to your gear. I've seen it happen 100 times before, 1,000 times before. So don't feel like, hey, my buddy's catching me at 35 on the line counter. I'm at 30. I need to be at 35. No, there's something else to it. It's your bumper length, leader length, color, or just coin flip, just dumb luck. So who knows? So anyways, started out there by the bridge. There were a few fish around. When the tide really started getting near high slack is when I actually saw a lot more fish around. I actually started seeing a few nets. There never really was a really big snap for the areas that I was in. I heard that there were a couple of spots way up higher that might have had a few more fish caught, but nothing crazy. Nothing at all like yesterday for the guys in the river. And right near high slack and right at the flip, I saw a few more nets. Got me a little bit excited. We were doing the interview with Outdoor GPS, and right as we were about ready to wrap it up with Owen, boom, we had a group of fish come in. I showed it on the live on my active target, turned the camera around so that way the folks could see. Had 5 or 6 fish come in. 3 of them bit, lost 2 of them, landed the other one, and it was a really nice fish too. So that was great. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. It's going to happen. Nope. Man, I fished from the top of Shipwreck almost to Portuguese Point all the way down to Buoy 12. And so I jumped around to the red line on the Oregon side. I was all the way down near Oahu. I ran all the way back up above the bridge during the bottom of the outgo. We covered some ground today. And what was really tough for me to kind of wrap my buoy 10 noodle around was the water temperature. Usually in years past, I've been trying to look for that 68-degree water right around in there on my unit because my Lowrance, I know, runs about 2 degrees hotter than everyone else's, be it Humminbird or Garmin. And looking at my Humminbird, it is running about 2.5 degrees warmer than my Humminbird currently is. So I was looking for that all day because that's what's been working in years past. But I also know that this year the river's running a little bit warmer than it has in years past. But I couldn't find that water temp. Like I said, I ran all the way down to Buoy 12 trying to find it. It was actually warmer water on the Oregon side than it was on the Washington side. And I could not find the right water temp to save my life. So I don't know if that made a difference or not because everyone yesterday was catching them in some pretty warm water. I don't know. Today was interesting. We ended up keeping one, letting another go, and losing 4 others. So it was not great by Buoy 10 standards. And what's really cool about what the active target has taught me is if I'm in an area where there are fish, I can see them swimming around. And there were times where I go half hour, 40 minutes without seeing a fish, which is odd. And so usually I go 10, 15 minutes without seeing a fish, pick up, let's leave, let's go find someplace else. Today, everyone I talked to, we were all spread out. Like I mentioned, I fished everywhere today. I burned almost 20 gallons of fuel just trying to hunt, and it did not pay off. We got a handful, but not as much action as the folks yesterday and a lot less than what I expected today. The one place I did not go today was up to Tongue Point. Now, typically Tongue Point fishes best the 2 days of growing tides, the first 2 days of growing tides, maybe sometimes 3 days. And today and even a little bit tomorrow are the smallest tides. So it felt like it was a little bit too early. The fish on the active target were being real lazy. They were just barely moving, and talking to my other guys looking at their live screens, they were saying the same thing. The fish were just barely moving. It wasn't until this afternoon when the tide bottomed out and we just hit the first part of the income. That outgoing tide, I saw hardly any fish at all. I don't know where they went. They just got abducted by aliens. But rise of tide at the very end of the day started pushing in a little bit, started seeing more fish, and those fish were ripping upriver. They were moving quick, even in the warm water. And anytime they saw my gear, they would just swim right around it. They didn't try and come over, see what was happening, or try and look at a lure. Didn't matter what color flasher, lure, stuff bait. It didn't matter. They were pushing off. So it was, for me at least, it was a frustrating day. I know a couple guys got 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. No one really landed on a really good bite. There was one guy out there who absolutely annihilated them, and I got to watch that clinic happen. I called him on the phone and even told him, I was like, hey, I think what you're doing is actually spelled Clinic, clinic, because that's what he was doing. He was put on a clinic. Popoff, Nick Popoff, man, that was something to watch. There's probably 50 some odd boats up there. I saw 1 or 2 other nets, but I saw his 4 or 5 times, and that was all on that income. All on that income. Like I said, on the outgo, I didn't see hardly anything. On that income, there were a few more fish around, but even then, I didn't see very many fish. But the fish that were around, don't worry, Nick caught them. Nice work, dude. Yeah, that was something. That was something. And I was talking with him a little bit and a couple other guys, and I started thinking, well, maybe I need to switch things up a little bit. Maybe try some bait, because I know some guys were catching a couple fish on bait. But then we got that triple on camera with Owen, all on spinners. And I called up another buddy, and he's like, hey, man, yeah, I'm running 2 or 3 baits, and I can't get bit on bait at all. I don't know what's going on. I can't get bit on bait. But his 2 fish that he did get were on spinners. So it just comes down to right place, right time, right fish. There you go. There you have it. So guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to go back to the ocean. If I was fishing the river, I think I'd probably fish around the bridge or even up higher. God, no one was fishing the tankers today either. And it's really hard to be the test dummy, because you're looking around just going, there's enough people here and enough fish to keep me interested. And if I go 30 minutes that way, I can miss a bite. And that one bite that lasts for 30 minutes, you're going to miss it completely, and that could change your day. Now, today it didn't work out well, and I probably could have just gone and chased anything and it wouldn't have mattered. But on days where you've heard that there's a good bite happening in a certain area at a certain part of the tide, you try and stick it out and hope that it materializes. And when it doesn't, you're left scratching your head and just going, boy, I must have made a wrong move somewhere, because it just didn't happen. And that's kind of what we all saw today. There were some guys, again, that found them. It's just, like I said, I got a triple at one point. So it's not like you couldn't have had a great day and tagged out. It's just some of them didn't stay on the hook, and some of the groups that we came across didn't bite. We came across one group right at the end of the day. It was probably 15 fish, and I'm heading right for them. I'm like, oh man, here we go. We're going to get another double and triple right here. This is going to change our day. They all come in, they look at the middle rods, and they go boom, like someone dropped a grenade on them. They just flared off. And usually I don't see that unless the weather is that south wind and a little bit of rainfall coming. I've seen that happen in years past, but it was a nice day today. It was windy, it was a little choppy, it was drizzly, but that's typical coastal day. So I don't know why the fish were acting like that today. It was pretty interesting. So maybe it was just today, and everything will be back to normal tomorrow. Who knows? But hopefully Tongue Point will go here soon. I know it's early in the season, and they're not going to be kegged up now like they will be later on, like towards the end of August, at those same tides that we have coming up on Labor Day weekend. But man, I don't know where else to look. That was really interesting. There just weren't many fish around. I usually see several hundred, if not 1,000 plus fish on my active target a day down here, and today was probably less than 100. So I don't know what to think about that. Well, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a little omelet for dinner here, and I got to do a bunch of laundry. I got to do some dishes. I got to get back to some customers. And there's always work to do. And with that, I'm going to go back to work. I got to make my bed, get some sheets cleaned up, hit this little house all cleaned up. I got a lot of dishes to do. So, cry myself to sleep, figure out what went wrong, and hopefully the ocean will be a little bit better. Although I should say the ocean today was slower for a lot of people too. So maybe it was just a weird day. I don't know. The ocean was off for a lot of folks too. It should have been a lot easier than it was. Guys got their fish out there for sure, but it should have been a lot easier. So there you have it. There's our Buoy 10 update for August 2nd, this Saturday. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll be better. Thanks for tuning in, and wish me luck tomorrow. I'm going to need it.